Okay, so now to wrap up applications of digital logic, we're going to be talking about field programmable gate arrays, or FPGAs. Now, what's the meaning of field programmable? Well, it means that by default, the manufacturer gives you a set of logic cells, and this logic cells you can configure uh, by default. But once you do, you're not stuck with that. You don't have to stick with having, let's say, one logic cell act as an AND gate or a set of AND gates. So by the term field programmable, it means that at the end user can still reprogram it. And then gate arrays, it just simply means that based on this set of logic cells, which I don't have a visual for, but we can kind of draw it like this. We have a bunch of logic cells, and within each cell, we can kind of connect them together in a certain way. Let's say it looks like this. And then this could represent maybe an XOR gate, just for an example. So, field programmable gate arrays are a special type of integrated circuit which we use logic cells and kind of connect them internally in specific ways to basically give us some kind of digital circuit. Now, this then kind of brings up the whole question of what's the difference between this and a microcontroller or microprocessor. So, just to kind of briefly mention about it, microcontrollers are any kind of integrated circuit units in which we can program some kind of code into it to have it do something specific. Like for example, if I wanted to let a microcontroller kind of flash an LED and on and off, I would maybe program some code that says, I don't know, blink for 1 second and then, turn off for 1 second. And the microcontroller would be able to do that. However, if I ask the microcontroller, find the meaning to life, uh, find the facial expression that this person is conveying, it won't know how to do that. And it certainly won't be able to answer that question either about what's the meaning to life. The answer would be 42, but the microcontroller wasn't programmed to do that. And, if you don't kind of do a little bit of deep learning with it, I mean, the microcontroller won't actually know what kind of facial expression the person is conveying. They could be conveying a smile, they could be conveying frowning. I mean, we both can see that in this situation, they are conveying a smile. But to the microcontroller, we don't know that. Now, what about a microprocessor? Now, a microprocessor might be able to do it, since by definition it can perform a general set of tasks without a defined window or without a defined deadline. So, for example, you ever kind of notice that whenever you kind of open up any kind of browser, it doesn't always take maybe 10 maybe 5 or 2, 3, 5 seconds to open up that browser. Sometimes, the microprocessor might take a little longer. It might take 10 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. And in the worst case scenario, sometimes it might even take, a couple of minutes to open up a browser. So a microprocessor kind of can do a general set of tasks without a defined deadline. A microcontroller can do something really well as so long as you program it to do it. Otherwise, nothing will happen if you asked it, what's this person's expression? Now, what about an FPGA? What what's kind of the difference between this and microprocessor and microcontroller? Well, for an FPGA, you can actually turn it into a microcontroller. So this is just microcontroller, and you can probably turn it into a microprocessor as well. Since it's not limited to, and the thing is that unlike a microcontroller, an FPGA can do a lot more. You can probably program in an FPGA multiple microcontroller units to maybe do something for a specific digital circuit. So FPGAs have a wide range, and they lead to what's called ASIC machines, application-specific integrated circuit machines. So, for example, maybe you wanted to crypto mine. An ASIC card is a type of FPGA that's programmed, and this is maybe just like a rough drawing of a crypto mining card to, mine crypto very quickly. That is made from an FPGA. What about like an oscilloscope? An oscilloscope has a lot of inputs, has a lot of outputs, and sometimes a regular microcontroller cannot do it. It just can't, draw a waveform with definite accuracy. It takes too many bits of resolution, has too many pins. I mean, for an Arduino Nano, it only has 40 pins, and not all of them are even able to be configured as GPIO. So with an FPGA, we can basically do what microcontroller and perhaps even some microprocessors cannot do. And that is help kind of create a general set of integrated application-specific integrated circuits, or ASIC machines, with its reconfigurable logic. And this is what makes FPGAs really powerful. However, the only drawback of FPGAs, the one that kind of pops up on the top of my head, is that because they require a lot of logic cells, they tend to be most FPGA boards are expensive. Just to kind of give you an example, the DE10 Lite already costs like $122, assuming you're not using it for academic purposes, in which case it still is kind of expensive. It's like $80, for example. So FPGAs are useful, and they are one specific application of digital logic in which we're able to kind of reconfigure logic cells to do digital circuitry. The only drawback is that they're expensive, but the plus is that they're able to do what a microcontroller can do, and perhaps even better than what a microprocessor can do in what's called ASIC machines. A crypto mining card, an oscilloscope. If you need to control a lot of pins if you need to control a lot of pins, but you don't have that much within a board, you use an FPGA. And that kind of concludes just our discussion about digital circuitry and digital logic. I hope you found this fairly useful and very insightful. Okay, thank you.